I want you to see all the cards easily. I'm going to have to get one that basically goes like up to the ceiling. This is one that fixes to the desk, so it's quite short. But to be honest, it's a godsend when you've had nothing. It burns really well, that sage. Because this is a brand new deck and it's so shiny and glossy, the cards don't stick. They shuffle so well. So much better than like matte cards. You need glossy, shiny ones, plasticky ones. You know, because if they clump together, you end up with like very samey readings. Okay. Spirit guides, universe and angels, please stand beside me and guide me for Libra's highest good. How is Libra feeling in this third week of November with regards to one they're thinking about, dealing with or manifesting? 3 cards, please. We've got your major arcana in the middle there, the Justice. Right, we've got the 8 of Cups reversed, so avoiding a separation. Shall I just show you what that looks like? What a gorgeous card. Is that hot air balloons? Yeah, it's the 8 of Cups. It's avoiding separation. Because it's reversed. You finding it difficult to let go of something? Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, so the Queen of Swords can be a card of separation, divorce, endings of, relationships. Queen of Swords reversed is, let's show you her. Wow, how beautiful is she? What was I going to say? Look at her corset, that's so pretty. What a fierce warrior. Queen of Swords is somebody who is a fantastic orator. They do their research, they are a good writer, a good speaker, they information gather, they speak their truth, okay? Confessions, revelations, clarity is found from, what do we say? Information is power, knowledge is power, right? This is somebody who, when they're reversed, they're in an exaggerated version of themselves. So either talking with harsh words, swords when wielded the wrong way, they cut us deep, okay? Or it's someone who's blocking communication, not talking. So you've gone from struggling to close something out to either really strongly advocating for yourself and kind of throwing your weight around with words, like giving harsh truths to someone, or you're just blocking communication. Because swords are communication. Okay. Yeah, she's reversed, isn't she? I love these cards. I love how much colour we've got going on here. Right, I'm going to turn you this way so you can see all the cards, because you're getting another one. Queen of Pentacles, upright. Practical, okay? Being a solid provider, she is stunning as well. One absolute babe. I'll just show you her. The Queen of Pentacles. She is somebody who, well, Okay, Swords energy is air energy. It's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. So showing up very much, cerebral, logical, factual. This one is a homemaker. It's someone that provides stability. It's someone who's a nurturer. Pentacles are practical, okay? Aware of your responsibilities, your 3D realities, good at making money, good at spending money, good at saving money, good at spending money on other people, okay? Pentacles are coins, it's earth, it's Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. So I think you've gone from kind of being quite fierce, okay, or strict with communication with an ex to just wanting stability, just wanting a nurturing environment for your children to live in. Queens are, we've got two queens here, so we've got air and earth. Queens are, men or women, but they are in their feminine energy. They are mothers, fathers, they're responsible for bills, they're the bill payer. You don't have to strictly have children, but you are somebody with responsibilities, and you're not kind of rushing off anywhere or spying on anyone, embarking on a new adventure. You've lived a life already. Tends to be that you own a home, or rent or mortgage pay that you provide for others, whether that be any dependents really, like parents, children. You could be like a really hands-on auntie or uncle. You could be someone who teaches. You're very responsible, and you enjoy that responsibility. She's upright, okay? The other one's reversed, so that's communication could be a bit erratic or on and off, but grounded, down to earth, planting seeds, getting on and providing very, very well, okay? Very reliable, stable energy, that's nice. Let's get 3 for the person you're dealing with. Okay, so in the challenge position, we've got the Sun. Now, the Sun card, that is absolutely amazing. Look at that. That's so pretty. Look at all the stars that are part of the Sun. I like these cards because they're like fully clothed in all of them as well. One day in the distant future, when I do get monetized, I could get demonetized apparently for showing tarot cards. I mean, that wouldn't happen in an art gallery. If a family walked into an art gallery, you wouldn't draw a bikini onto a Botticelli painting, would you? Do you know what I mean? Aphrodite, you're not going to draw a bikini on because it's lewd. It's artwork, guys. I don't understand YouTube. I really hope by the time I get monetized that they change their policies, because I don't agree with people over age 13 seeing nudity, but when it's a drawing on a card and it's classical or it's a cartoon, and it's used for tarot, it's, to me, that's the same as okay, then we shouldn't be showing paintings then with cherubs on. That's not lewd, it's art, isn't it? It's ethereal, we're not getting our jollies off to it. I don't understand. I really don't understand. So I hope YouTube, you review that, because that's crazy to me. But at least on these cards on this deck, they are all fully clothed. Yeah, because there would be a naked baby on this one in the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot deck. The baby sort of giggling, laughing, carefree. You know, this is a child, it's a youth, they're very calm. You know, he looks like an heir to the throne, about 8 or 9 years old. Absolutely stunning horse. Just, he's got his eyes closed, you know, like he hasn't got armour on, he's just peaceful. He looks important, but relaxed and peaceful. See, that was, it's so nice. It's a shame to put that sideways, but it was in the challenge position. So why would happiness and being carefree without burdens, why would that be a challenge? Something's hanging in the balance here. 2 more, please. Oh, I love this artwork. 8 of Swords, mental entrapment. 7 of Pentacles, thinking about the past, okay, thinking about what's being cultivated so far. You know, he's picking fruit, isn't he? This is what's being harvested in this orchard or orangery, wherever he is. It looks like it's outdoors, but like the fruit's hanging down from some kind of awning or archway. Not an awning. Yeah, he's receiving the reward for, you know, all that hard work all year. You plant, you know, you sow and you plant in springtime, and in summer, you know, the fruit, you bear fruit and you collect it and make jams with it, or, you know, eat it as it is. It's this person very burdened with thoughts. See these swords? She's blindfolded. Look at the way the sun is there. It's like strobing, isn't it? And then it looks like there's mountains, ice cold water. There's a huge distance. She's at the water's edge, and it's like she's been pinned down by a dress with daggers. She's fully armoured, blindfolded. It's a sense of being trapped. Someone can't stop thinking about what they've already planted somewhere else before they met you. And it's causing them a lot of pain. That's why they're not having the sun upright, because they're not fully happy. There's something really bad going on with them. Really, like, I watched a TikTok today, and it's a guy that makes oh god, I can't remember what the music's called. He makes music using his mouth and like an electronic synthesizer, and it's very like mood lifting music. It's not trance or house, it's like, I can't remember what it's called. Someone did write what it's called, but he was making music to cheer people up, and there was a guy who looked about in his 30s, he could have been in his 40s, black guy. He said, I miss my ex-wife and my kids, I hope that I can see them again someday. So he's obviously like done some kind of wrong. And that's why I wanted cheering up, and the music, you know, like he was holding his heart while the music was kind of building up. It was very emotional, and a lot of men commented saying how they felt really distressed, you know, that they weren't living with their children anymore, that they weren't living as a family anymore. And some of them had, you know, turned to alcohol, and some had Just they were struggling with like depression. No one kind of outwardly said that, but they were kind of like, there was a pouring out of hearts from men, kind of trying to build other men up after saying this. And it's just like you never really know how much people are struggling or what they're afraid of or how much someone's life may have changed, you know, due to divorce or separation. You know, often it is the man that moves out, and not only is it difficult for everyone when you separate, but when you've lived with children, that is heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking. I do get the sense that this person has planted, you know, they've cultivated a life with someone else and had to leave it, and it's really getting to them. It's like skeletons in their closet that they sort of push down, you know. But when you oppress and you suppress emotions that are that important, that heavy, that manifests itself in your body. It's not good. Men in particular don't talk about how they're feeling. They're embarrassed, their ego is destroyed, they can't give a sense of pride or masculinity or strength or everything men are supposed to be. You know, when they impose that upon themselves, it's not that society says you can't talk about how you feel, but there's something innate with men that they don't want to let their guard down. It's probably a primal thing, you know, you don't want to show weakness, but it literally manifests, this kind of pain manifests in your body if you don't speak about it. So someone could be living at a long distance from children or an ex, and really, really struggling with that. They could be missing their home country. Let's see what comes out if a court card comes out. They could be missing, you know, immediate family, like parents. It's some kind of life that they had before they met you. The Emperor, look. This was a person who had all four kings. They were a provider. They were a nurturer. They were, God, he looks good. They were someone very truthful, very honest, very intelligent, very organised, a fantastic orator, speaker, writer, communicator. They were somebody incredibly ambitious and fiery and passionate and driven and confident. For this emperor to be knocked off his throne, something really bad has happened, a real loss, and nothing in this life is worse than the loss of children. And you can feel like people have died when you are living at a long distance from them. And trust and believe, even if you're just living in a different house, it's not the same, guys. It's really not. It's not the same. It's not just living without your children, it's living by yourself. You know, when you talk, there's no one to hear it. If you got like a really bad day that you need to talk about with someone, there's no one to talk to. It's really messed up trying to live by yourself when you haven't really known that, not for many years. I personally, I don't have kids, I don't have a partner. I have lived by myself and I have lived with students. I didn't like either of those situations because I didn't feel like the people I lived with understood me or cared about me, most of the time. At times we had a laugh and got on, but most times it ended up, you know, with us falling out, because we had very different patterns. I was professional, they were students, they were a lot younger than me. There was a language barrier as well, but living by yourself is just, it's not nice. Like I can't do it. And I don't know if that's weird or normal, but it's like if I cook a meal and I like time for myself, but I want to know there's other people around. I want to know there's people in the house. You know what I mean? You sit down for a meal, it's just you at the table and just silence. Do you know what I mean? Like, you rush the dinner down that you spent ages making and give yourself indigestion, because if you sit there, who are you in company with? No one. It's just, I know, and that sounds like really over the top, but I've lived it and it ain't fun. It's really not fun. So I don't live alone, I live with my parents, and I am older. I'm in my late 30s. I've lived abroad, I've lived in my own place. The only time I've really felt settled is when I lived with my boyfriend and we had a place together. And I felt like I was all tucked up in my nest, holding hands, going to sleep. And I just loved life. I've never felt so anchored, so like settled. It is really fucking difficult to lose that, but it is much worse when you've got kids. I can only imagine. Okay, I've got nephews in my family I'm very close to, but I can't imagine what it's like to be like making memories with children, see them get born, see them grow up. And I'm sorry if this is making anyone upset, but you need to talk about it. You need to live in the pain and feel it and discuss it and let it out. If you cry, it'll be like a turning a tap on. It'll let that build up out. It'll release the pressure. Do you know what I mean? I think you need to like cry, and I think music is really good for men. They express their emotions, but when they listen to music and sing along to lyrics, it does allow some kind of expression. I've known guys that listen to power ballads in the car. Do you know what I mean? Like, give me an example, like Whitney Houston, or like any of the, like, you know, divas from the 90s, like black singers, like they listen to power ballads because they just, you know, I know men listen to all different kinds of music, that they have very eclectic taste. I know a lot of guys that love music from the 80s. You know, you've got to express somehow what you're feeling, and if you don't want to talk about it, you've got to like sing it out or do something. You've got to do something, because it manifests in your body, and you know that your blood pressure, your heart, you know, people die from heartache, they die from heartbreak. You've got to take care of yourself. And I don't mean in the form of like punishment, you know, running it out at the gym or lifting weights. I mean like allow yourself to be vulnerable. If you go for a massage, you have to fully relax every part of your body. If you go for a sound bath, if you do, you know, a hot yoga class or something, you will fully relax. You will start to get into a state of euphoria. You know, make sure you're going in the steam room, make sure you're having a hot tub, make sure you're taking care of yourself. Have a beer with a mate and some pizza at theirs, and just chat about shit that you need to talk about. You will have friends at some point in your life that are or have gone through the stuff you're going through. You know, women can't sit with stuff like this. They have to ring someone up and talk to someone. I don't really like texting. I don't feel any emotional relief from that. I think it's funny flirting with people through text. I love that. But when I'm upset, I need to ring someone up. You know, pick up that phone and just be like, mate, I need to talk about this. You've got to do it, because it's going to make it ill. I'm talking about men. It could be, you know, that this is a woman, but it's something about what's been cultivated in the past, in a life before meeting you, is just really tough for this. But it's like a rain cloud following them around everywhere. They're never going to be fully happy. It's sad as fuck. this person very capable, they're very clever, they're a hard worker, they're very loving, you know, but they feel like their crown has fallen because, you know, if someone came at them now, they wouldn't have like full resilience, they wouldn't be able to think as clearly, they don't feel as happy like when they're having downtime, and it's making them unwell. I don't know why I'm like stressing it so much, but I do worry about men. I really, really do. I know a few men that are, you know, really not expressing themselves, and there's big stuff happening to them, and it's making them ill. I think that's why so many men, they love to have a dog, because dogs give you cuddles, you know, and people won't question it. They'll just be like, oh, cute, you know, lovely strong man being, you know, showing his soft side with a dog. Get a dog, do what you need to do, get a cat, you know, have company. You need something. Have one of those, what are they called? Is it a cockatiel? Those ones that like dance to like rock music. I was so determined to have one of those at some point, honestly. You need to be like showing that soft side and letting out those emotions and having like soothing times. You need company. I know a lot of men that live on their own, and you know, if you go on Match.com or something like that, there's people that just, they look so lonely. Yeah, they've got a good job, yeah, they've got their own place, but it's empty. Do you know what I mean? It's sad as fuck. I think men have a hard time, honestly. I'm not saying women don't have a hard time, because we do, but it's like, we know how to come together. We're more like, we can be really bitchy with each other, but the ones that we do like, we are, you know, we're like sisters. It's like a sisterhood, and we will chat shit about any problems we've got, and we will pour it all out. And we don't have this like sense of, well, most of us don't have a sense of like, oh, I mustn't show weakness. Like, we know that we need to show vulnerability with one another and be there for one another, but something about most men, they just don't do it, but you need to do it. It's making you really unhappy. I mean, to the point of like depression, you know, mental health problems, physical health problems. This is what I'm talking about, physical health problems in men comes from stuff like this, not talking about stuff like this. Mental health. If you don't deal with it, it'll start to affect your physical health, and that'll affect your income, and then your self-esteem and your self-worth and what you feel about yourself. It's a downward spiral, guys. It doesn't stop there. You don't maintain like a front. People just feel like they want to help you and you won't let them, and that makes people feel further away from you, and they already know. 99 times out of 100, people around you that work with you, people that are mates with you, people in your family, they already know. They're not daft. They can see, they can hear. If you've been arguing, or you're like ships that pass in the night, or you don't really talk kind of that way about each other anymore, you don't really laugh, you sleep in different rooms, people know. They know before you do. Of course, if you go round putting on a really good act for everyone, you know, they might not know as well, but a lot of people faking it, you know, posting really nice pictures on social media, and reality is very different. Makes you ill. Let's get 3 for the outcome. The High Priestess reversed. They're not taking the signs that the gut's telling them. Like, they're probably having like really bad tummy aches and just avoiding it. Your gut, okay, is communicating with you. You know, some people get IBS, really, really bad chronic pain. Some people will get heart pain, back pain, you know, stiff neck, tight jaws, grinding the teeth, you know, restless, nightmares, sweaty palms, you know, breathless. If you're feeling sweaty, breathless, if your heart's rushing, you know, you're having like that fight or flight response all the time, that is high levels of anxiety, high levels of fear, feeling a total loss of control. If you ever feel like you're outside of your body, and you're not in control of it, that's a panic attack. It's an anxiety attack, and you need to go to your GP. Okay, and you need to discuss that. So if you talk to your GP, no one's going to know. If you talk to your GP about your wife, your kids, your husband, your ex-wife, your ex-husband, your colleagues, a nightmare boss, a stalker, no one is going to know. You know, friends that always fucking say the wrong thing, that do your head in because they can't just be sensitive for a bit. They've got to, like, wind you up, you know, or rip the piss out of you, or make you feel bad about how you look, or whatever it is that's doing your head in. You've got to talk to someone, and your GP will give you 10 minutes to just chat whatever to them, and no one's going to know. No one gets their feelings hurt, you know. They can see you like once a week to do that. You can get private counselling. I've been through all this shit, you know, and after the first time, your body's more prone to it. So it tends to happen again a few years later, and then it tends to happen again a few years after that. It's just like natural responses that your body kind of turns to. Once it's done it, it'll do it more. I don't judge anybody for having mental health problems. I don't think there's one person that won't have mental health problems at some point in their life. It's just being too stressed for too long. It's being like on the edge for too long, because you're being strong, but it's like you've been in that fight or flight mode for too long. I think someone you're dealing with, Libra, it could be you and this person, or it could be, you know, we're dealing with your own separate stuff, or it could be the person you're dealing with is having really major health problems, and it is down to stuff they're not talking about. They're actually quite unhappy, and it's to do with the life they've left behind. You've got the Strength reversed. Let's just look at these cards because they are stunning. Look at that High Priestess, amazing. Oh, the Strength. It's like Beauty and the Beast, that, isn't it? You know, the lion's sort of ready to rescue it and like kill someone and eat them for her, but she's calming him down. So that is somebody that is, when it's upright, they're maintaining a balance, they're not losing their temper. When it's reversed, they could be losing their temper, or they could be feeling very nervous and very, like, you know, the opposite of brave, like that fight or flight reflex that makes you all trembly and like nervous. They're not following their heart, they're not following their gut, they are pushing everything down. It's not a good idea. Let's get one more. So you're very stable. You're very stable because you're the big Queen of Pentacles upright. You're very grounded at the moment. But this person is just really going through it. Really going through it. Six of Swords reversed. Yeah, they've not left those thoughts behind, those worries. Look how many swords they've got. They've got 8 there. They've got 6 here. They're just going through cycles of like mental entrapment. They can't reach that happiness, that carefree. They don't feel like they're in their nest where they're supposed to be. They don't feel like that. They feel, you know, marooned, isolated, deserted. What they had cultivated is somewhere else. They're not anywhere near that. And it's disempowered them, because when you don't feel good about yourself, you can't lead an empire. You can't do that. That's someone who's lost their empire. And they have all 4 kings. The Emperor is the highest status in the entire tarot deck. The Emperor and the Empress are equal status, but they are the top. They're above all of the court cards. It goes Page, Knight, Kings and Queens, and then Emperor and Empress. This person is the King of Swords. He is the King of Wands. He is the King of Cups. He is the King of Pentacles. It's a very capable, very reliable person, but they are away from their empire, and it is hurting them. You need to help this person to express themselves. You know, some people write diaries, some people sing, some people write songs, some people paint, you know, tortured artists. Some people dance. Some people, you know, go and do sound baths, meditation, massage, you know, sculpture. There needs to be something expressive going on. You know what, as well, like movies. I know this sounds like a bit base after talking about the arts, but movies are so good for, like, they will change your whole mindset. They will shift you from one frame of mind to a whole other. You'll see like 3, 4, 5 different perspectives, and you'll feel loads better. Movies are really, really helpful. I want to meet up with you. Yeah, they want to meet the people they've left behind. My ego is loud, but I'm listening to my soul. I'm striving for spiritual enlightenment. They really, they're trying to feel better and get to a better headspace. You know, they're kind of waiting for divine guidance, but it's really blocked. Why the Emperor reversed? I want to commit to you. It's a person who's very committal, so if they're being non-committal or keeping things light with you, it's because, you know, their heart belongs with what they've cultivated already somewhere else. It's not a non-committal person. They may be unhappy because they feel like they've started to make a new life, and how does that go together with the old one? How's it going to work? Like, how do I blend 2 totally different places? You know, maybe they get a lot from this new life, but maybe it's making them feel ill about the old life, you know, like, it's like grieving at the same time as celebrating. Like, how on earth do you do that? It's very difficult, isn't it? I see signs about you everywhere. The High Priestess reversed. I think they're looking for signs. I don't think they're getting the signs. I think they're looking for them. I think they feel really lost and like They don't know what's going to happen in the future. But then they wouldn't be happy if it carried on how it is. I feel insecure. Strength reversed. Are you going to listen to me? Six of Swords reversed. They may attempt to communicate about this with you, with the people they long to spend time with. But they're not sure anyone really understands how they're feeling, what they're going through, how desperate they are. And they probably don't want to say it either. A good parent will always try to look strong in front of their children. They don't want to cry in front of them. A narcissist might cry in front of their children, but most parents would do anything to avoid that because they want to show their kids that they are safe always. The mum or dad is in control always. That I'm not saying it's right, but I get it. I totally get it. I don't think kids mind actually seeing parents express emotions. I think it's human. Do you know what I mean? I think giving children a chance to be there for parents can be a good thing on occasion. If someone passes away or something, like you've just lost a parent, obviously, your kids want to be there for you, whether you want them to have to do that or not. They want to be supportive towards you. What is it that Libra can offer? I love that I can be myself around you. Let this person fully be themselves around you. Accept, them warts and all. Let them clip their toenails in the living room. Let them be at ease. I'm working hard on my finances for you, for us, for our future. You can allow them to have self-esteem, to rebuild their ego. They are an emperor. They were an emperor. You've got someone who has, a very big heart, and I think they feel weird not being in that role that they're used to being in. I don't think they could replace what they've left behind. I think that would hurt them even more, but just to feel like they belong. Let's dig a little bit more. What was the nature of this? What was cultivated before meeting Libra? What's the nature of what this person was dealing with? It is safe for you to love. They felt safe to love before. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. They've had to close off their heart chakra because it's kind of like easier not to feel than to miss people all the time, to miss the people that they've left behind is very difficult, so they have to kind of like put it in a box and not think about it. But they loved with all their heart previously. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations and visualizations help bring you together. They felt like they left their soulmate behind, honestly. You can have more than one soulmate. If someone who they were married to, had children with, a profound connection, a profound family unit. Have you got any advice for Libra with regards to this person? What expectations do I have that are impossible to meet? The expectations we have are mostly delusional and impossible to meet. We then experience disappointment with ourselves or with a relationship when they are not met. It's time to dissolve your expectations and replace them with gratitude. Today's soul action, be grateful. You are being summoned to more peace. Peace is home for our soul, and it is accompanied by trust. It comes when you surrender and focus only on what you can control. If you expect nothing and are grateful for everything, you will experience extreme fulfillment. Am I focused on what I want most? One reason so few of us achieve what we truly want is that we never direct our focus. We never concentrate our power. Most people dabble their way through life, never deciding to master anything in particular. Okay, that's a quote by Tony Robbins. Today's soul action, what you focus on grows. Today, ask yourself, is my life a reflection of my values, or do I need to make adjustments? Prioritise. Okay? So this person, and your advice to this person should be, follow your heart. If you are making a life that causes you to grieve for people who are still alive, that ain't good. Do you know what I mean? You need to find where home is and be there. If you miss your country, if you miss your family, if you need to be closer to your kids, you know, I'm not saying like force your way into a house. Like, God, I'm not saying that, but you need to, if you don't feel like you're home and home's somewhere else and you're on the outside of things, you need to find a way to rectify that, you know? Move closer, go back to your country, move closer to your kids. What is the most important thing to you? What's making you the most unhappy? And deal with it. Let's be honest, we can make money anywhere. We can acquire material items again. But we have to be in a situation where we're being our authentic selves. And if we're living with heartache because we thoroughly miss, you know, and I mean, feel homesick, feel disorientated, don't feel like we belong, don't feel contented with our lives. If you're in a miserable workplace, if you've got a nightmare boss, you're not a tree. Move. If you haven't got happiness, if you haven't got your health, what is the point? I've gone and lived in places and I wish I'd left sooner. And I've gone to other places and I've thought, yeah, I feel okay, I feel like I can do this. Recognise the feelings and respond to them. Do not shut them off, because it will manifest in your body and you will have a mental breakdown. You will. If it hasn't happened already, it's probably on its way. Talk to a GP now. Prioritise. Find out if you're already unwell. By the time I went to a GP, he said to me, like, you're having a panic attack now. That's why you've got a dry mouth. That's why you're shaking. You're having a panic attack right now. And we talked for 10 minutes. I filled out a form. You know, a checkbox form, like, was I experiencing these symptoms? Gave me a score, and he was like, you're borderline for depression and you are like off the charts for anxiety. So then I, you know, started to talk about what I'd been through, and I started to say that I'm home now. I live with my parents. I, feel safe again. But in fact, no, I'm telling a lie. The first time it happened, I was in the UK and I'd challenged a workplace, and people who seemed to be supportive and agree with me suddenly shrank back and sort of camouflaged themselves and left me stood, with my head in the noose, and I carried on, challenging the workplace because I believed that they were fully wrong, and we sorted it out in the end, but I did not appreciate people leaving me, stranded. I will be that person that stands up for what I believe in, and I'm actually best friends with, my line manager who I was challenging. She got respect for me because I stand up for what I believe in, and I got respect for myself, but I have a duty of care, and if I feel that someone could be in danger and things haven't been done the proper way, I will challenge it. And it's because I'm a Libra moon. I've got a really strong sense of right and wrong, really strong sense of justice, and I can't be that person that just looks the other way. I can't do it. So, what was the point of my story? It was that put me under pressure. I had my first mental breakdown. I hadn't lived abroad yet. It was a couple of years before I went abroad. But it happened again the next time I was under a lot of pressure. When I was living abroad by myself in another country, another job, didn't have any support network around me. It was very, very tough. Very, very tough. It was much worse because I wasn't in my own country. And it only got better once I came home. I lived abroad after that, and it didn't happen again. But I've needed to feel safe. I've needed to feel that I belong. I've needed my tribe. I've needed to feel understood. I have needed medication both times. I've stayed on the medication now because I just recognise that I am an anxious person, and I will worry to the point where it's not useful. It just stops me sleeping. And now that I'm on medication, I'm less anxious. I recognise the signs earlier. I try to be very, very regular taking my meds, and if I don't take them for a few days, I might be alright for a day or two, and then I'll start seeing, signs that I just basically can't shut off mentally. Like ruminating on the same thoughts, or even like creating scenarios that haven't happened, like potential things. I've spoken to other people and they definitely experience these symptoms, but it just, you can feel it like starting. It doesn't get to the point where I'm having physical symptoms, it's just that I can't shut my brain off, and get a good sleep. So when I do take my medication for anxiety, it just allows me to worry the appropriate amount. It's not that I don't feel anything or think anything. I worry about things a bit and then I can go to sleep. Do you know what I mean? So it actually works for me. The first time I had medication, it was antidepressants, and they were really bad. That was Xanax, and it heightened the depression. To the point where something really bad could have happened, to be honest. But with the anti-anxiety medication, it's been fantastic, to be honest. I actually have like a much better quality of life than I've ever had. So you've got to just try things. You've just got to suss it out, suss out your own body, suss out your own issues, get a hold of them, get control of them, with a professional, and find something that balances those chemicals in your brain, because they get out of whack. But everything's habit, everything's synapses, everything's pattern. Do you know like how if you do something a lot that gives you a sense of reward, you kind of build up a habit? Well, anxiety is like that. It's like when you worry a lot, it kind of gets easier to kind of, they're like habitual things that your brain does and sort of get better and better at doing it. Your brain gets better at doing it, it jumps to that mode more quickly. So all I can say is once you've had a mental breakdown, you're more prone to it. And you should never judge anyone who's going through that, because it takes a few years to get yourself stable after the first one and understand your body and your emotions to the point where you can sort of manage it really, really well. And it can happen to anyone. It normally creeps up on you and it's too late really by the time you realise what it is. But I know a lot of people that could probably do with the medication, but they're like embarrassed to like talk to anyone or take it, or do you know what I mean? There's like a bit of a stigma with certain generations of people, and I don't think there should be. I don't think we should still be having people self-medicate with illegal drugs, because that's what you do. If you don't go to a GP, you end up drinking too much, or you end up smoking weed too much, or you end up, do you know what I mean? Like as a pothead or a junkie, like tweaking on the street. Like, wouldn't you rather have a normal quality of life from going to a GP than like be tweaking on someone's Ring doorbell? I just don't get people, do you know what I mean? If you think about people that have come out of the military, they find it really, really difficult, don't they, to kind of get back to like routine, because they got to like make one from zero. Very, very difficult. So it could be someone that's come out of the military just missing a life that they used to have, because everything was organised, everything was structured. A lot of people that are growing up without structure can't really cope when they leave the military, because it provided that blueprint for a life that they've always had. I literally know people that's happened to. I think what I want you to do is just understand like a day in this person's shoes and how bad it could be. You know, maybe you think you know this person, but I think there's a lot you don't know, to be honest. I think you'd apply that to people you're walking past in the street, people you work with, people you're friends with, you know, your kids. We like to think, don't we, that our kids would talk to us if they were upset, but how many of them like struggle with mental health now? People need to talk about what they're going through, because that half sun, you know, it's half like storm, isn't it? It's half rain cloud, it's half thunder cloud, it's half happy but half miserable. It's not great. Do you know what I mean? And I think when you're just living with that there, that's not good. It's okay to have a bit of fear, it's okay to worry a bit. You know, that's natural. It gives you the drive to kind of fix things or motivate you to kind of address certain stuff, but it can go too far. And then if we're not kind of facing it, it gets worse, trust me, it gets worse. Watch out for this person, honestly, take care of them and encourage them to get the help that they need, because there's quite a strong, severe level of something here going on that's affecting their body, mentally, physically, emotionally.